Hi guys, welcome to the channel. You with me Arun Sharma, and in today's video, in this lesson, we are actually talking about the algebra question of the CAT 2023 paper, and we are doing the slot 1, all the algebra questions. There are 6 algebra questions in that paper, and we'll be doing all those questions. And as you know, algebra is a very important component of the CAT. You will have anywhere between, out of 22 questions, which is the current pattern, you will have anywhere between 6 to 10 questions on algebra. I think the highest has been around 9. I think 10 थोड़ा ज़्यादा बोल दिया मैंने. 9 questions तक जा सकते हैं. 5 to 6 तो minimum you'll always find. So effectively 30% to 40% of the paper of CAT these days is built on algebra and algebraic structures. And the 4 chapters of algebra essentially are functions, logarithms, inequalities, and equations, which includes quadratic and cubic equations. And you need to study these well. And a lot of you have been asking me for videos on algebra, so I thought that when I'm starting this series on CAT question solution, I'll start with the algebra part straight away. So here goes. Without any further ado, as I told you, this is CAT 23, and I'm starting from CAT 23 because a lot of people found CAT 23 to be tough, very tough, and specifically the algebra part, and hope you find the solutions to be very intuitive and very simple, which is what I always try to do in my classes as well as my books. Most of you would be obviously aware of my books. And coming back, let's start with the first question in this paper. The question is a logarithm question. The question says, if x and y are positive real numbers such that log to the base x square plus 12 is equal to 4 and 3 log x to the base y is equal to 1, then this is x plus y equals how much? Okay, so the first trigger, and all questions in quants are always done through triggers inside the question. The question tells you what to do. You have to just obey it. So if I try to obey the instruction that I get from this part of the question, when this tells me that log to the base x square plus 12 is equal to 4, it essentially tells me that the magnitude of this value, the value of this bracket, will actually be equal to x raised to 4, because that's the only way. Only if you have log x raised to 4 to the base x do you get a value of 4 on this side. So essentially the problem starts from this structure, and the problem starts from this point, where what you do is you equate x square plus 12 to x raised to 4. And our target is very clear in this question. The target was to find the value of x plus y, and so the first target is to find the value of x. So we have this expression, and you can either solve this as a quadratic equation by assuming that x square is a. If you do that, then this becomes a plus 12 is equal to a square, or a square minus a minus 12 is equal to 0. And when you have this structure, you can solve this you can solve this to get the values of the root as 4 and minus 3. And that means that the value of a is 4 and minus 3, and that means the value of x square is either 4 or minus 3. We can reject x square as minus 3 because x and y are positive real numbers, so x square cannot be minus 3, so which means x square is 4. And if x square is 4, that means x is plus or minus 2. We can reject the minus 2 solution again because x is a positive real number. So what that gives me is the value of x is 12 as 2. So that's my first part of the solution. Of course, I could have short-circuited this whole thought process if I just think numerically at this point that I've got a number x, square of which plus 12 gives me x raised to 4. So I can very clearly, easily see that the value 2 fits this equation, because 2 square plus 12 is equal to 2 raised to 4 is a very simple way to look at it. But in case you don't see that and you miss that reaction, you have the quadratic way of solving this, and you get a value of x is 2. So once you have a value of x is 2 by obeying this part of the instructions, the second part of the instruction will help you find y. and that's a very simple reaction. This is 3 log x, that means x is 2 now, 2 to the base y is equal to 1, which basically means log 2 cube to the base y, which means log 8 to the base y is 1, and this can only happen if y is itself 8. So the value of y comes out as 8, the value of x was 2, so x plus y, 2 plus 8 has to be 10, and that's the correct answer to this question. So pretty simple question. I wonder why people found this a paper which had this question very difficult in the CAT. Utna bhi difficult nahi hai, as you can see. This, I mean, if you ask me, only thing you have to do in this, if you have studied logs for 2 days and you know how to obey the instructions in logs, you should be able to solve this question. There's not much self-generated thought in this question. Let's look at the second question for today. So when you look at this question, the question says let x and y are real numbers such that x square plus x minus 2y minus 1 whole square is equal to minus 4y x plus y. Then the value of this was x minus 2y. Is the question is asking us for the value of x minus 2y. Some software issue with the PPT on this board, so that part is getting blanked out. Those of you who need a PDF of this, please download it from the link provided. We'll be providing you the PDFs along with these videos, so that you can also use this channel as not just as a video resource, but also as a study resource for content. So do, and if you have not subscribed to us, please do start subscribing to us immediately, and do spread the word around so that we can bring more such content to you. So anyway, let's come back to this. X and y are real numbers such that x square plus x minus 2y minus 1 whole square is equal to minus 4y x plus y. The first thing to do is the first reaction in this, not a very advanced mathematical reaction, is to take this on the right side, on the left side, and write this equation as x square plus 4xy plus 4y square plus x minus 2y minus 1 whole square is equal to 0. And when you do that, this part of the component is actually, as you can see, x plus 2y whole square plus x minus 2y minus 1 whole square is equal to 0. And the only thing you need to understand this, there's no further solving in this question. You should be able to see the answer right at this point, and I hope you can see it. If you can't, let me explain this to you. The expression is square of some number plus square of some other number equal to 0. Since the square of a number can never be negative, this is a positive or a 0. Basically this is a non-negative number, and this is also a non-negative number. And if two non-negative numbers are adding up to 0, it can only happen if both those numbers are 0 itself, which basically means that we have a 0 plus 0 situation here. We have a 0 plus 0 situation, which means that the expression inside this bracket has to be 0, which can only happen if the value of x minus 2y itself is 1, because only then will you get 1 minus 1 whole square 0. So that's the only logic in this question. I know people find it difficult to solve such questions in the exam. Couple of reasons. I think when a lot of people get intimidated by looking at the mathematics and the algebra inside these questions. The second problem is that a lot of people, and because they are intimidated, they can't think straight and they can't think logically in situations like this. So very, very simple logical solutions, barely 10 seconds. You don't have to do anything apart from being able to write this as this square plus that square equals 0. There's absolutely no steps inside this question, and they have asked you. They could have asked you the value of x plus 2y. That would in that case it would be 0. They have asked you the value of x minus 2y, which is 1, and hence the correct answer in this question is option B. Right. So that's 3 plus 3, 6 marks in CAT 2023, and just for your information, 8 questions pe 99 percentile tha. 3 questions pe you had crossed 90 percentile in CAT 2023, and I wonder what kind of preparation people do that they come across such questions and are not able to do stuff. Now this is a typical question of CAT, the third one, which you can see here, which kind of throws people off, because and I always talk about this in my classes, as well as you will, if you follow my videos, you'll find this, that maths questions in CAT, there is an algebraic way of doing it, where you start getting into algebra and you keep doing algebra, get to the answer. There's a numerical way which is the opposite, where you bypass the algebra and you just go through numerical and solve the question on numbers. We saw that in that first question. X square plus 12 is equal to 16 is equal to x raised to 4. There was a mathematical way of getting the value of x as 2, and there was a logical numerical way where you could see that the value of x has to be 2 in that case. So you have to build that ability. And a third route, so one route of solving algebra questions is hardcore heavy algebra, the kind of stuff you typically do in engineering preparation. The opposite is just numbers. You don't do any algebra, you bypass the algebra completely and you completely just do it based on numbers. But so this is obviously very valuable. You have to know this, but you don't rely on this all the time, because this is very time consuming. And there's a third approach where you do a couple of steps of algebra and then you go into numerical solving. So if you look at the previous question that we just did, this question, we did a couple of steps of algebra and then we thought numerically here inside this question to get this answer. So always remember this structure. And why I'm telling you this is because in this question, if you go algebra, you're going to get stuck badly, because it's a very, very long solution. And I'm sure if you read on the net, you will find how mathematically you can solve this. But the problem is that the mathematics, and why I would not advocate that approach, is because the mathematics in this is so long that if you start just copying the solution, it will take 3 minutes to copy the solution, and the chances that you'll be able to think through at every point in the question and get to the answer in the algebraic transformation of this expression to get the value of under root 10x plus 9 is going to be almost impossible. So what is my advice to you? How do you approach a question like this? This question number 3. And please notice, CAT has given you this question with options. So this is not a theta question. So one of the things I have noticed is that whenever CAT, and when I do numerical solutions, a lot of people do ask me, what if this was a theta question? So please notice one thing, that if a question, if there are no options in this question, you're forced to go algebraic. And CAT has never done that. If there's a question, even a heavy hardcore algebra question, and if that question is suppose without options, and without options that question requires a very heavy algebraic solution, then you will see that question will always come with options, because they'll give you a route to solve it logically, always, because they don't want the algebra from you. And so what's the simple way to do this? What's the 30-45 second way, maybe 1 minute way to do this? Is because they are asking you this value, under root 10x plus 9. They have asked us this value, okay, what is the value of under root 10x plus 9? So if I take a value from the options, let's say I say that under root 10x plus y is 4 root 5. Option A. So if I square both sides, I'll get 10x plus 9 is equal to 16 into 5, 80, which gives me 10x is equal to 71, which gives me x is equal to 7.1. And once I get x equals 7.1, if I try to put this on this side, please notice the original expression is under root 5x plus 9 plus under root 5x minus 9 is equal to 6 plus 3 root 2. So if I put x equals 7.1, from here, from the first option, I'm getting a value of x as 7.1. Only then will the expression end up as 4 root 5. So if I put 7.1 here, I can just see whether it matches the right hand side. When I put x is 7.1 in the left hand side, I can just check whether it matches the value in the right hand side, and I can see very simply that this will be under root 5.5 into 7.1, 35.5 plus 9, under root 44.4, and 35 plus 5 minus 9, 44.5, 35 plus 5, 35.5 plus 9, and 35 plus 5.5 minus 9, which is 26.5. And this you can very clearly see that there is no root 2 component on the left hand side, and you're not going to be able to match this. And checking the option in this form is, if your calculations are good, should not be more than 10 to 15 seconds. And so we reject the first option And if you go to the second one, and we check the second one, 2 root 7 under root 10x plus 9 is equal to 2 root 7. So 10x plus 9 is equal to 28. So 10x is equal to 19. X is equal to 1.9. And if I put x equals 1.9 in this, I got root 18.5. That means 1.9 into 5, 9.5 plus 9 and 9.5 minus 9 plus root under root 0.5. And this again, there's no component of 6 plus 2 root 2 in this expression, and hence I can reject this value also. And you are in an interesting scenario, because if you can reject the third answer, you can actually just mark the fourth one and go ahead. So when you're doing stuff like this through options, you never need to check all the 4 options. You have to trust the question setter, and you have to trust your calculations that I have not done anything wrong. So and if you try to check with 3 root 31, you will see that it does not match. So I'll just show you how 3 root 7 matches. If I take this as 3 root 7, I have 10x plus 9 as 63, which gives me 10x is 54, which gives me x is 5.4. And if x is 5.4, this expression under root 5x plus 9 becomes root 36, because 5x is 27. With x 5.4, 5x will be 27. Root 36 plus root 27 minus 9, 18, which is 6 plus 3 root 2, which is what is the original expression given to us, and hence we can actually identify that option D is the right answer. So this is the best approach to do this question. If you entered the algebra, the process would essentially be square this side and then try to see how you can eliminate the unwanted terms, etc. It's a very, very tedious and complicated question solution. I don't want to go into it simply because of the fact that even if you understand how to do it algebraically, that's not how CAT will ever ask you to do these questions. So let's look at the fourth question for the slot of fourth algebra question in the slot. The question says the number of integer solutions of equation 2 mod x x square plus 1 is equal to 5x square is. So number of integer solutions. So when you first look at this and you apply your logic to this situation, what you have to understand is that you have a cubic expression on the left hand side and you have got a quadratic expression on the right hand side. Now as both are expressions in x, so as you increase x beyond this, I mean in very small values, you might have a quadratic being larger, x square being larger than x cube. But as you increase values of x beyond 1, 2, 3, etc., a cubic expression will always go up faster, value-wise, it will always increase faster than a quadratic expression. A cubic expression always rises up faster than a quadratic expression, right? So why I'm telling you that and why that thought is important here is that given the fact that the question is asking us the number of integer solutions for this equation, you can simply start off by trying to see, okay, do I see any values? And when you see this 2 mod x into x square plus 1 is equal to 5x square, when you see that expression, just trying to write. Okay, when you see this expression, the first thing you realize is that on x equals 0 on both sides, the two expressions will be same. So I have been able to find the first integer solution, but the question is not saying which is the first one. The question is saying how many, the number of integral solutions. So when I put x as 1 on both sides, we are talking about integral solutions. The other thought you should also have is that both the left hand side and the right hand side are even function. That means x positive or x negative will not matter, because if I put x negative, mod x will be positive, x square will be positive, x square will be positive. So if I find a solution on the right hand side of the x-axis, then there will be a parallel solution on the left hand side of the x-axis. So when I look at the value of x as 1, at x equals 1, the left hand side is 2 into 1 into 2, which is 4, and the right hand side is 5. So the right hand side is larger at x equals 1. And at x equals 0, both of them are 0 and they were equal. So when I try x equals 2 in this, 2 into 2, 4, into x square plus 1, which is 5. So 20 is equal to 20. At x equals 2, it's 20 is equal to 20. So I realize that because x equals 2 is a solution, x equals minus 2 will also be an integral solution of this expression. So I am now sitting at 3 integer solutions in this question. Now, are they going to be more or not is the key question. And if you do a small, even if you're not very clear about the logic, you can do a small calculation. Okay, where I put x equals 3, this becomes 45, and this becomes 6 into 10, 60. So you can see that this is larger. At x equals 4, this is 8 into 17, 136, and x equals 4, this is 80. You start realizing that this is going up much faster. As I said, intuitively also you should know that cubics will start rising much faster as you go beyond 1 and 2 for the value of x. And the moment you realize that after x equals 2, you can go to 3, 4, 5, 6 as long as you want. The left hand side being a cubic expression, the power and the value that it will create will be much larger than the value created on the right hand side, and hence there will be no other points at which the two expressions will be equated on the expression will be equated on the left hand side and the right hand side, which is why the correct answer to this question is that there are 3 integer solutions, and that's all. That's the only thought you need inside this question. And I hope you're finding these solutions to be very, very intuitive and very, very logical. And even if you're not a maths background student, you can actually understand these things. So once the fundamentals are in place, logical fundamentals are in place, you actually don't need to go into a BSc maths or a +2 mathematical processes of algebra too much to get through the CAT questions. And this is one thing that you should have clarity about when you study algebra. Another question which is, in my view, mostly obeying instructions. This is based on quadratic equation. The question says alpha beta are the 2 distinct roots of the equation 2x squared minus 6x plus k. So the first information given to me is that this quadratic equation has 2 roots, alpha and beta, and they are distinct from each other. Fine. Okay, nothing to do with that at this point, because I can of course find the roots. For any quadratic equation, the roots can be found, but I can find these roots currently in the form in terms of k, because k will also be a value which will contribute to the value of the roots. So we don't do that. We go ahead and see what the question is saying further, and this is where the trigger comes, such that alpha plus beta and alpha beta are the distinct roots of the equation. Alpha plus beta and alpha beta are the distinct root of the equation x square plus px plus p equals 0. Okay, so if alpha beta are the roots of this equation, then from the basic quadratic equation, from any quadratic equation, we know the sum of the roots and the product of the roots. So what I know is alpha plus beta, if alpha beta are the roots of this, alpha plus beta minus b by a will be 3. And the product alpha beta is c by a, which is k by 2. So what I know at this point is that the expression x square plus px plus p equals 0 has the roots 3 and k by 2. Right? Now the target in the question is value of 8 times k minus p. So in some way or the other, from this point, I have to be able to get to a value for this where it's neither dependent on k or p. So what do I do next? What I do next is I know that these are the 2 roots of this equation. Now for this equation, the sum of the roots is minus b upon a minus p upon 1, and the sum of the roots is the sum of these 2 values, 3 plus k by 2. And the second thing I know is that the product of the roots is p by 1, c by a, p by 1 is equal to the product of the roots. Since I know the 2 roots as 3 and k by 2, this is 3k by 2. So obviously I can take the negative value of this and put it on this side, and p is 3k by 2. So if I equate that part, let me clean the board this side so that I can write the next parts. So the next part of this thing, and you're pretty much downhill now, because you should realize that while solving, you should realize that you are in a two equation, two unknown situation, and in any two equation, two unknown situation, you can find both the values. You've got two distinct equations, two unknowns. You can actually solve them. I mean, this is basically class 7 standard process, and you can find the value of P and K, and you need to make sure that you don't make any calculation errors while doing that, so that you get those 3 marks inside this. And the fifth question of algebra, 15 marks on algebra straight away in the CAT 23 paper. If you did not do anything else, you'd still get a 95 percentile, 97 percentile in quants in CAT. If you just did these 5 questions, and I'll show you the sixth one also, and you would get a 97, 98 percentile in QA in CAT 23 by just doing these 6 questions. So let's come back. So now the solution is obviously minus 3k by 2 is equal to 3 plus k by 2. So when I get to these cases, I'm very wary about making silly errors. So I should be very careful about getting the value of k. So when I take the 3 on this side, minus 3 is equal to, and I take the 3k by 2 on that side, 3k by 2 plus k by 2 is 4k by 2, which is 2k. So k is equal to minus 3 by 2. And if I put k as minus 3 by 2 inside this, I get the value of p as minus 9 by 4. So once I get k as minus 3 by 2 and p as minus 9 by 4, my target is to get 8 times k minus p. So 8 times minus 3 by 2 minus p. So p is minus 9 by 4. So minus p will be plus 9 by 4. So if I resolve this, if I double this, this is going to become, this part is going to become minus 6 by 4 plus 9 by 4. So basically I'm ending up with 8 times 3 by 4. And the correct answer to this is of course 6, and that's the answer to this question. The value of 8 times 6 minus 6 times 8 times k minus p is 6. Now you can see that inside this question, if they've given you options or not given you options, this is a theta question. So if they are not given any options, it does not really require any options, because all this was obeying instructions and logical thoughts. You didn't have too much algebra to do in the solving of this question. Let's come back to the last question for today in this video, and let me know how you like this video, and do let me know if you really want me to continue this. You will have to share these videos so that I get a certain number of views, so that I am also enthused about this. And do subscribe to the channel for more such content, and also the PDFs. Please don't forget to download the PDF which will be provided to you for this video, where we'll give you all the algebra questions from the CAT paper. Let's look at the sixth question, CAT 23 paper in this PDF, and of course I'm planning to do the CAT 22, 21, 20 and so on. So if you're preparing for CAT this year or next or whatever, these videos will become very valuable to you long term, in terms of your preparation strategy and structures. So let's look at the sixth question. The question says the equation x cube plus 2r plus 1 x square plus 4r minus 1x plus 2 equals 0. So this is a cubic equation, right? It has minus 2 as one of its roots. So this equation has minus 2 as one of its roots. So let me just clean the board here, because I think I'll need a little bit of writing space for this. So I've got this expression x cube plus 2r plus 1 x square plus 4r minus 1x plus 2 equals 0. This is the equation given to me. So the first thing I should realize, here is, I mean, just a theory point which you should know, and that theory point is that when you have a cubic equation, ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equals 0, when you have a cubic equation like this, then the sum of the roots, there are 3 roots for this, for an equation like this, r1, r2, r3, let's call them that. The sum of the roots, which is r1 plus r2 plus r3, is given by minus b upon a. the pairwise product sums, that means R1 R2 plus R1 R3 plus R2 R3 is equal to C by A, and the product of the roots, which means R1 into R2 into R3, is minus D by A. These are the formulas that you should know, and you will have to use these formulas in some way to solve this question. So what this is telling me, what this question is telling me, that this expression is minus 2 as one of its roots. So one root of this expression is minus 2. And if the other two roots are real, that means all three roots are real. Cubic equations have either 3 real roots or 1 real root. So if this question is telling me that all 3 roots are real, that means the other 2 roots, let's call them A and B. These are my 3 roots, and A and B are also real numbers. Then the minimum possible non-negative integer value of R is. Now this seems completely off the cuff. A lot of people got completely derailed by this question. But as I'll show you, this question is also built on very simple triggers. If you can keep your cool while solving this question, you realize that the first reaction is, if you go back to the equations that we just saw, or the formulas we saw, minus 2R plus 1 upon 1 will be minus 2 plus A plus B, the sum of the 3 roots, right? Minus 2A minus 2B plus AB will be equal to minus of 4R minus 1 upon 1. But that's not so important, as what you should be able to spot, that the product of minus 2 into A into B, the product of the roots, is minus D by A, which is minus 2. And this is where the trigger is. This is the trigger they have provided you, and the 100 percentile sees this trigger immediately, and his reaction to this trigger is that the product of A into B is 1. And if the product of two numbers is 1, logical reaction has to be the two numbers are reciprocals of each other, which means that the roots of this equation are minus 2, A and 1 by A. So with that, with that reaction, if I come back to the first equation we wrote, what we get is minus 2 plus A plus 1 by A is equal to minus 2R minus 1. If I take the minus 2 to that side, I get minus 2R plus 1 is equal to A plus 1 by A. And to be able to resolve the question is asking the smallest non-negative integer value of R, right? The minimum possible non-negative integer value of R. So to resolve this, you need to understand the behavior of an expression like A plus 1 by A, and an expression like A plus 1 by A, X plus 1 by X, M plus 1 by M has been used in CAT hundreds of times. If you go through my LODs on the algebra chapter properly, you will find that I've put at least 5, 7, 10 questions where I've utilized this logic, and this is the logic between the theory. I mean, the theory will never tell you this, but as being a CAT aspirant, you should know how 1 plus 1 by A behaves, A plus 1 by A behaves. And the behavior of this is that the minimum, if A is positive, the minimum value of A plus 1 by A is when A is 1, because A plus 1 by A will give you 2, and you cannot get this magnitude of the value of A plus 1 by A to be below 2, because if you go to let's say A as 2, this will be 2 plus 1 by 2, which is 2.5. If you go to A as 1.01, you will see 1.01 plus 1 by 1.01, you will see that the net value is just a little bit above 2. So 2 is the minimum value of this expression when A is positive. And likewise, so A plus 1 by A has to be 2 or more than 2 if A is positive. And if A is negative, then again at A equals minus 1, you get minus 1. And as you can see, one more thing you should be able to see. If I told you at 1, 1.01 and 2, I showed you that A plus 1 by A is actually larger than 2 every time, or equal to 2. But if I go to a value like 0.5, You can see 0.5 plus 1 by 0.5, which is again 2, is 2.5 again. So whatever you do, you take a as 0.1, 0.1 plus 1 by 0.1 is 10 plus 0.1, 10.1. So you can see whatever you do, you cannot get this value below 2. And on the other side, the behavior is replicated. When a is negative, the behavior is replicated magnitude wise. When a is negative, the magnitude of the answer has to be minimum minus 2. I'm not saying the value, I mean when you talk about value of minus 2 at a equals minus 1, the value of this is minus 2, and that's the highest value that a plus 1 by a can have. You cannot have a value of minus 1.9 or minus 1.8. You can have a value of minus 2.1, you can have a value of minus 2.5. At a equals minus 2, you can see the value of this is minus 2.5. At a equals minus 0.5, you can see the value of this is minus 2.5 again. So, this minus 2 is the maximum value that you can actually create out of this. You cannot go, when you're talking about maximum on the negative side, you cannot go higher than minus 2, which is minus 1.9, minus 1.8, minus 1.7 and so on. So that is the logic here. So once you reach this point, when you try to put, they are asking you for the minimum possible non-negative integer value of r. So if I try to put non-negative, you just go back to this language, minimum possible non-negative integer value of r. So non-negative means 0, 1, 2 we are looking at. Integer value means we are only looking at 0, 1, 2, you're not looking at 0.5, 0.6 and so on, and we are talking about the minimum. So if I put a 0 inside this for r being non-negative integer value, if I try to put 0, I have an outcome of a plus 1 by a is equal to 1, which is not possible, as we can't get the value of a plus 1 by a to be as low as 1. So then I go to my next case. What if I put a value of r as 1? So in that case I have an expression a plus 1 by a is equal to minus 1, which is also not possible, because either minus 2 या उससे छोटा ही होना पड़ेगा, you can't get it to minus 1. So, and if I go for r as minus 2, I have an expression which says a plus 1 by a. If I put r as minus 2 here, I have an expression of minus 3, which is a possible value. And of course all other values, r as 3, r as 4, everything will be possible. And hence when they are asking for the minimum non-negative integer value of r in this question, the answer to this question is going to be 2. That's the correct answer, because at 2, the value that is coming out for a plus 1 by minus 3 is the first feasible value for a plus 1 by a in this set of values for r. So that's how this question got solved. This was a slightly more complicated question because you had to know the a plus 1 by a property. You can't hope to discover it inside the exam, and that's part of what you need to make sure that you do in quants. And that's one of the reasons why I keep telling you that if you're listening to me and my strategy sessions, that you should study every topic 3, 4, 5 times so that you grasp all these secondary, tertiary, fourth level logics, which you will not get in the theory of the chapter. Right? So I hope you like this, and I'll be back with more. Thank you so much. Bye.